chilling African village murder mystery. The Teacher Who Knew Too Much. Episode 1, The Drums Remember. In a quiet African village where secrets hide behind smiles, one woman's death would awaken an ancient call for justice. This is not just another African true crime folktale. It is a chilling mystery rooted in betrayal, silence, and the power of forgotten drums. This is the Drums of Justice. The village of Ogugu lay deep in southeastern Nigeria, surrounded by thick forests and older-than-time traditions. It was peaceful until everything changed. One morning, the lifeless body of Mama Ifunanya, the village's beloved schoolteacher, was found at the edge of the sacred grove. Her arms were stretched out. Her eyes were wide open. And beside her was an ancient wooden drum, long believed to be cursed. The police arrived. They took photos. They said probably collapsed, heart attack, no signs of struggle. Just like that, they closed the case. But something felt wrong. To the villagers, and especially to her only daughter, Amaka. Amaka had returned home from Lagos after receiving the news. She stood over her mother's grave, tears falling silently. "This doesn't feel right," she whispered. Why would she go near the sacred grove alone, at night? Her mother, Mama Ifunanya, wasn't just a teacher. She was a pillar in Ogugu. She educated the poor, helped widows, and stood up to local corruption. She wasn't careless, and she wasn't weak. 1 week passed. Then, on the 7th night, Amaka had a dream. She saw her mother, wearing white, sitting near the shrine of Ogugu. In the dream, her mother said, "The truth is buried where the cowries sleep. Let the drums speak." Amaka woke up soaked in sweat. She had no doubt the drums were calling. She began asking questions. What was my mother doing that night? Who saw her last? Most villagers avoided her. Some warned her to let it go. But one woman, Mama Nkechi, finally spoke. She was digging into something, she said, about land, money, and powerful people. Amaka soon uncovered whispers of illegal land deals. Sacred land had been sold. Funds meant for the village school had gone missing. And her mother. She had found documents, real proof. 3 names kept showing up. Chief Odogwu, the village leader. Pastor Daniel, a wealthy preacher with a brand new SUV. And Ekena, once her mother's student, now a rising politician. Each of them had something to lose. And Mama Ifunanya was getting too close. One night as Amaka walked home alone, a voice came from the shadows. "Leave this alone, city girl. Not everything buried should be dug up." She turned. No one was there. The next day, while going through her mother's belongings, she found a diary. Inside were scribbles, warnings, names, and a strange mark. The same symbol found on the sacred justice drum. 3 lines were repeated over and over. "Only the drums will reveal the killer." She took the diary to the abandoned village shrine. No one had entered it in years. It was dark, cold, covered in cobwebs. She placed the diary on the old drum. Then the impossible happened. The drum played by itself. One deep, chilling beat. Duum. Outside, thunder cracked. The wind roared through the trees. The next morning, news spread like wildfire. Chief Odogwu's house had been set on fire. Painted on the wall were 4 chilling words. "The drums have spoken." The villagers whispered of spirits, of curses. But Amaka knew the truth was closer than they thought. Her mother had uncovered a powerful secret, and someone had silenced her. In the final page of her diary, Mama Ifunanya wrote, "If I die mysteriously, follow the money. Listen to the drums. And never trust a preacher in a foreign car." Amaka stared at the words, her hands trembling. She knew the fight wasn't over. And now, it was her turn to finish what her mother started. Because in Ogugu, the only thing more dangerous than a lie is a drum that refuses to be silenced. But just as Amaka thought she had reached the edge of what could be known, something unexpected happened. The night after she heard the drum beat on its own, she received a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end was trembling, barely a whisper. "You don't know me, but I was your mother's student long ago," the voice said. "Meet me at the old well before sunrise. Come alone." Click. The line went dead. Amaka's instincts screamed danger, but curiosity whispered louder. Before dawn, she made her way through the misty village paths to the abandoned well on the outskirts of Ogugu. The air was thick with fog and silence. There a man stood, cloaked in shadows. His name was Eze. A quiet man with tired eyes and a limp, Eze claimed to be one of Mama Ifunanya's brightest students, one who had mysteriously dropped out many years ago. "She saved my life once," he said, "and I failed to return the favor." Eze revealed something shocking. Mama Ifunanya had discovered not just corruption, but a generational conspiracy. The land deals, the missing funds, the sacred grove, they were all connected. And worst of all, the drum isn't just a drum, he said. It's an ancestral ledger, a keeper of secrets. Those who wrong the village, their names echo through it. He explained that in ancient times, the elders would gather around the drum during trials. When the guilty touched it, it beat on its own, exposing their crimes. But during the Civil War, the ritual was abandoned. The drum was hidden. Until now. Eze handed Amaka a torn notebook page, drawn by her mother. It showed a secret underground chamber beneath the village shrine. A place called the Room of Whispers. There, according to legend, the sacred drum once echoed the names of the corrupt, in the dead of night. Amaka felt a chill. Her mother had been trying to revive the old justice, and someone had stopped her permanently. But the most disturbing part, the map in her mother's sketch matched carvings on the back of the old drum. That same day, Pastor Daniel, the flashy preacher, held a sudden prayer crusade in the village square. Loudspeakers blared and the pastor shouted, "This village is under spiritual attack. We must fast and pray." But Amaka saw through the smoke and noise. It was a distraction. And the pastor was sweating more than usual. Later that night, Amaka snuck into the shrine again. This time, she brought Eze with her. Together, they found the hidden trapdoor beneath a loose floorboard. What they discovered was beyond belief. A stone staircase spiraled downward into darkness. At the bottom lay the Room of Whispers, walls covered in ancient symbols, faded names, and stories of old betrayals. The sacred drum sat in the center, resting on a cracked stone base. Beside it, wrapped in red cloth, were scrolls, dusty with time. Her mother's handwriting appeared on several of them. She had translated the rituals. One scroll read, "Only truth survives the drums. Only the bold may beat it. He who touches it with lies will awaken its wrath." Then they heard a noise upstairs. Footsteps. Then voices. "Search the place. The girl is here." It was Chief Odogwu's men. Amaka and Eze hid in silence as boots pounded above them. Suddenly, the drum let out two loud beats. Duum. Duum. The men froze, then ran, terrified. But Amaka wasn't scared. She was more certain than ever. Her mother had found this place, had unlocked something ancient, something real. The next morning, the village woke up to shocking news. Pastor Daniel was gone, vanished. His brand new SUV sat abandoned near the forest. The windshield had a single crack in the shape of a drum. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said he was taken by spirits. Others said he fled, fearing arrest. Amaka knew better. She returned to the school where her mother once taught. There, hidden behind a cupboard, she found a dusty briefcase. Inside was a list. Names, numbers, land deeds, bank accounts. Everything her mother had discovered and documented. It was evidence that could destroy powerful people. But before she could act, she received another message. This one carved crudely into the side of her late mother's house. "Truth is a fire. Be careful what you burn." Later that week, Mama Nkechi fell ill. Before she lost her voice entirely, she whispered to Amaka, "Your mother knew too much, but she also knew the drums would choose another." She squeezed Amaka's hand, her voice barely audible. "That one is you." As the episode draws to a close, Amaka stands once more in the Room of Whispers. She strikes the drum 3 times. Dum. 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 The ground trembles lightly beneath her feet. And from the shadows a new figure emerges, an old man with one blind eye, wrapped in traditional cloth. "You are not ready," he says. "But you must be. The killer walks free, and your mother's spirit is not at rest." Amaka looks up, her voice steady. "Then show me what I need to see. I will finish what she started." The old man with one blind eye leaned on a carved staff, stepping forward from the darkness. His voice was low, echoing with age and secrets. "I am Enna Orji, last living keeper of the drums." Amaka looked at him, stunned. She had heard stories of the ancient drummer, a man who vanished after the war. Some said he had died. Others believed he had joined the spirits. "You must understand," Enna Orji continued, "your mother was not just seeking truth. She was restoring a broken covenant between this land and its guardians." He motioned for her to sit. "The Room of Whispers," he said, "was once a court of truth, not of men but of spirits. Here the ancestors judged leaders, exposed liars, and protected the innocent, but power corrupted the process. Men silenced the drums, and the price was blood." Amaka listened, heart pounding. Every revelation pulled her deeper into a world she hadn't known existed. "Your mother," Enna Orji said, "was chosen by the drums, but she was betrayed not just by those she exposed, but by one she trusted most." Amaka's eyes narrowed. "Who?" Enna Orji didn't answer. Instead, he handed her a scroll sealed in dried palm wax. "This," he whispered, "was the last scroll she wrote before she died. Read it, then decide whether you still wish to continue." Amaka broke the seal. Inside was her mother's handwriting, hurried, shaky, as if written in fear. "If you are reading this, I am likely gone. Trust no one, not even those who claim to mourn me. One of them, my student, walks in two worlds. The betrayer wears the face of grief." Amaka froze. Her mind spun. A student. Was it Eze? She looked at Enna Orji. "Can I trust Eze?" The old man didn't answer. He simply said, "The drum will reveal." Suddenly the sound of a bell echoed from the village square, a signal. One that hadn't been rung in decades. "That is the bell of judgment," Enna Orji said, rising. "They are calling for a cleansing." Amaka and the old man climbed out of the Room of Whispers and into the night. The square was full. A fire burned at the center. The villagers stood in silence, and at the front, flanked by soldiers, was Chief Odogwu looking grim. "This village is under attack by chaos," the chief declared. "Dark forces, fake prophets, dead teachers. Now someone must take the blame." He pointed. "Bring the girl forward." Gasps spread through the crowd. Two men grabbed Amaka. Ez stepped out from the shadows, shocked. "What is this madness?" he shouted. "She's done nothing wrong." But the chief sneered. "Then let the drum decide." Suddenly, the sacred drum was rolled into the square. Its surface gleamed under the firelight. "Let her touch it," the chief said. "Let us see if her heart is pure." Amaka stepped forward. Her hands trembled. But she remembered her mother's words. Only truth survives the drums. She placed her palm on the drum. Silence. Then, dum, dum, dum. But this time, something new happened. The wind swirled. Sparks leapt from the fire. The villagers gasped, and on the surface of the drum, a faint symbol began to glow. 3 curved lines, forming the mark of justice. "She is not the liar," someone whispered. The chief's face darkened. Suddenly, the crowd turned. Suspicion hung in the air. "Then who is?" someone shouted. The drum let out a single, soft beat. Dum. And all eyes turned to Pastor Daniel's abandoned SUV. The crowd rushed toward it. Inside, they found something chilling. A blood-stained church robe. A torn page from Mama Ifunanya's diary. And a single cowrie shell cracked. "The spirits have chosen," an elder said. The preacher was guilty. But Amaka was no longer satisfied with whispers and clues. She needed hard evidence. The briefcase her mother had hidden, the names and numbers, needed to reach the right hands. But as she turned to leave the square, a hand grabbed hers. It was Eze. "We need to talk now. There's something I've not told you." He pulled her aside. "I didn't just drop out of school," he confessed. "I was pulled out. Your mother tried to protect me from something I saw. I witnessed a meeting, late at night, between Chief Odogwu and a man in military uniform. They exchanged a briefcase. I told your mother. 2 weeks later, my uncle was found dead." Amaka's breath caught. "That briefcase," as continued, "looked exactly like the one you found." Suddenly, it all made sense. Her mother hadn't just found local corruption. She had found a connection stretching beyond the village, possibly to a network of land grabs and laundering tied to powerful forces. "Then this fight is bigger than Ogugu," she said. Eze nodded. "Much bigger." Back in the room of whispers that night, Amaka lit a small fire and read through the documents again. One name in particular stood out. Colonel User Ekimini, a military officer now retired, owning large tracts of land in nearby villages, all bought at suspicious prices. At the bottom of one deed was an unfamiliar signature, one that matched her mother's scribbles in the diary. "The silent one eats first." He was the final piece, Amaka whispered. A new target. A new path. But first, she needed allies. She looked at Enna Orji, sitting by the drum. "Will you help me take this beyond Ogugu?" He smiled faintly. "The drums do not stop at village borders. Where there is injustice, they will beat." And so, the real journey was about to begin. If you want to know what happens next, who really orchestrated Mama Ifunanya's death, what secrets are hidden beyond Ogugu's borders, and what the sacred drums will reveal in the next village, subscribe to Irahtides. Turn on notifications, because the truth is still rising, and the drums are just beginning to thunder. To be continued.